Hello. This session is on how to access your student email account. One of the things before we begin today's training that I want to stress to you is the importance of using your Lawson's email account with anytime you want to communicate with teachers at the college, staff, or administration at the college. One of the things you also need to be aware of is that if you use an external email, it is likely that that email will either end up in the spam box here at the college, or the teacher will not recognize it and not even open it and delete it. Okay? So one of the things that you need to understand as a student, especially when you're trying to communicate with any employee at the college, is that you must use your LawsonState email account. Okay? So it's very, very important. Also, the other thing that you need to be aware of is that it's not just about information you're trying to send to us, but we also as a college send all kinds of information to students. It may be information about, for example, maybe your teacher is trying to, you have an incomplete in the class and your teacher is trying to set up a time for you to come in to take maybe the final exam or something that you missed. So the teacher is likely, he or she is more likely to email you than to try to reach you by phone. So that's another thing that you need to understand. Also, administration oftentimes will send out student alerts or student announcements. So it's not just Blackboard where this information will be shared with you, but also student email accounts. Another way of looking at it is this way. We have close to 6,000 students here at the campus, so you can imagine that it's far more easy for us to send a general grouped email to 6,000 students opposed to calling 6,000 students. You understand? So we group all of your emails together and we can send out one message, but it goes to all students. Okay? So that's the first thing that's important for you to understand. So now that we're on the website, as you know, the website is www.lawsonstate.edu. We're going to scroll down, and you'll find the online portal, which is right here. You'll see Blackboard and employee email, student suite. Here we go. Here is our student email. So to access the student email, you need to click here. And when you do click the green envelope for email, the login will pop up. And what you'll notice is that the login is pretty basic. It is every time you print out a copy of your schedule, you'll see that your schedule at the top of it has a copy of your LawsonState email address. And one of the things that you need to notice are what are the components that make up the username and the password. The username is made up, let's pretend that this student's name is Jane Doe. Okay? So I'll take her out. Jane Doe. So Jane, first initial, and Doe, last name. So it's not Jane Doe, it is the first initial, last name, full last name, and the last 4 digits of your student ID number. Okay? So the password is actually going to be Jane's date of birth. But it's very important for you to understand that it's just 2 digits for each. 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 2 for the year. So we're going to put her birthday in. And you can't see that. But again, it should be just 6 digits. 2 digits for the month, the day, and the year. Now let's say that you don't remember how to log on. Lawson has thought about that as well. So if you I click on student email, you'll see that it reads help with my email. So I'm going to click that, and just like what I explained to you, this is the written version of what I just said. It's going to walk you through how to establish your username and your password. Okay? Also, let's say that you're sure you've logged in properly. You've put in your first initial, your last name, and the last 4 digits of your student ID number. If that doesn't work, try your first initial, last name, and the last 4 digits of your social security number. So let's say that you've tried both ways, as well as put in your birth date for your password, and you can't log in. Well, we have an answer for you as well. Lawson State has a help desk. The email address is helpdesk@lawsonstate.edu. Now we recognize that, well, if you can't get on Lawson, how do you email the help desk? Well, then that's the only time it's okay to use your Yahoo account or your Gmail account. But you need to be very specific with the help desk. Remember, we have close to 6,000 students, so that you need to tell the help desk who you are. So provide the help desk with your first name, your last name, your student number, which is right on your schedule, and the last 4 digits of your social and your date of birth. If for some reason you don't have your student ID, just skip that section and they can look you up by your last name and your first name. But ideally, it's better if you have the ID because it makes the situation for the help desk a little easier. So I'm going to get out of this. And again, you click on student email, you log in, and it's going to take you to your email address. Okay? As you see here. So when you do that, you'll find that you have all of your emails here, and I want you to notice there's a calendar if you want to use that. You can establish contact list if you would like to do that. Of course, you need to delete and keep your email accounts accurate and not too full. So to delete unused emails or emails that you've already read and you don't need anymore. Now, to create and send an email, let me walk you through that. And I'm sure many of you know this, but just for those who do not, let's walk through it. Click on New. And you'll see that you're going to you need to tell the computer who you want to send the email to. So let's say that you're sending the email to me. I'm Dr. Davis, so you hit sdavis@LawsonState.edu. If you're emailing anyone in the administration or your teachers or your faculty or staff members, we have because maybe there are 2 S. Davises. In that case, it might be sldavis@LawsonState.edu. So make sure you clearly know the name or the email address so you don't have a kickback. So let's pretend that you're emailing this to me, and the topic is you have a schedule conflict. So give it a subject and write the email, of course. Now, of course, you would give me more information like who you are, what the conflict is, but we're just, doing this for practice today. After you do that, after you've written your email, and make sure, by the way, if you're emailing someone on campus, like a teacher or a faculty member or administration, that you do punctuate properly and that you're not texting us. And that's very important because remember, you want to make sure that things are representative of you as a college student. So after you've done that, go ahead and click Send. And the email, of course, is then sent to that particular individual. Okay? Everything with that last name as we see here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my inbox. Okay. Okay, you see some junk mail, so don't just ignore that. We do get junk mail. I guess that's important. And speaking of junk mail, the college does a really good job of, sorting out junk mail. But as you can see, it still does hit our account. But just know that if you get junk mail and you miss it, like I did in this case, just delete it out as soon as you can. Never open up mail that you're not familiar where it is coming from, because you have to understand that you can infect any of our computers with junk mail. So be careful, and never ever open up an attachment that is coming from an unknown source. That's also very important, not only for the protection of the computers here on campus, but any laptop that you may own or any computer that you have at home. So always be very, very careful of attachments in particular. And for all of you who use Facebook, it's the same thing out in Facebook land as well. Be very, very careful of any attachments that come through that mail as well. All right, so that's sort of a basic email tutorial. You can of course learn more advanced lessons in email by just going to the options menu here and playing around with email. You really can't hurt email, but the main thing, you need to know how to write email, and we've gone through that, as well as checking to see if something has been sent. I hope this tutorial has been helpful, and remember to always use your Lawson State accounts. If you have any further questions about email, remember, if it's a technical question, to email the help desk at helpdesk.lawsonstate.edu, or you can always contact your facilitator for any just general questions about how to navigate within our email system. Hope this has been helpful.